Hey YouTube, this is Jesus of Salvation. How are you today? Figured I'd show you a little project we're working on here in our basement. Since it got cold now, we are bringing our plants indoors. I tried potting this year. It worked pretty good in Florida, and when we moved from Florida to Indiana, we found that the place that we're renting, the house we're renting, had a beautiful lawn, and I didn't want to ruin the lawn, so we tried pots here also. It worked great in Florida because in Florida it's a very sandy soil and we couldn't get our plants to do very well. But as soon as we put them in pots and we controlled the soil and the vitamins and everything, they worked much better. When we came here, we said let's just keep keeping things in pots and see how that goes. So all season we've been doing pretty good, getting good fruit, a lot of good eggplant, peppers, tomatoes, a ton of cucumber. We got some cantaloupe. I'm trying to think what else we had. Watermelon. We had a couple other things. So we also had blueberries. So what I was trying here is we had some plants that were still going strong into the fall. So as it just got cold now and it's getting into the upper 30s at night here, I figured we'd bring them indoors, and I'm going to try a little test to keep the plants going strong all winter, bring them up in the spring so they'll be ready to start flowering, and instead of putting out small little plants in March to April and waiting till June or July to get some fruit out of them, I figured if we put them out early in April and they start flowering in late April, early May, we might have some fruit in the beginning of June. It might be just an earlier season. Especially peppers. Peppers take a very long time to grow. This huge plant right here is all peppers. So I have four pretty decent stalks coming out of here of peppers. Over here on the ground I have I think they're aroma tomatoes. Let's see if I can find one to zoom in for you. It might be dark over here in the basement, but I'll try to zoom in. I got some Roma type. And then we have some little grape tomatoes. This thing was a plant we got at Menards. It was the most sorrowful looking plant you've ever seen in your life. I think we got it on clearance for $2.50 or $2 or something like that. And we put nutrients in there, good soil, watered it like crazy, and this thing ballooned and went nuts. Filled our pot to overflowing. We already have, I can't even tell you how many tomatoes we've already gotten off of this in the season, let alone what we have upstairs in buckets. This thing is just a phenomenal producer, and our kids love tomatoes. They're popping them in there like crazy. Over here we have some cantaloupe. We have eggplant. We have blueberries. We have baby peppers, which I started late in the season. But by the time spring comes around, they're probably going to be as big as this plant right here. Once they get started and they get over about 8 inches, then they start blossoming, going crazy. At this rate here, they are the slowest growers ever. This over here is also another eggplant. Eggplant is a great producer because one big piece of fruit is a whole meal for the family. You fry it up. We dice it up with Italian seasonings. If you want a great recipe for eggplant, let me know. My wife found something that's fantastic, and the kids love it. On here we still have a whole bunch of green peppers growing, so I figured why waste them, let's bring them inside. So what I'm doing is I put some trays down to collect the water so it doesn't get all over the floor. I'm going to make sure they're watered every day, make sure they have organic nutrients. Some people might make their own nutrients. I just grab that. It is organic plant food. And we are going to try this experiment all winter and see how we do. This is just really quick. I threw a grow light up there. I'm going to get 3 more and either build a frame so it's a little lower towards the plants, or just put 3 lights up there and see if it helps illuminate better. But at this point I have 1 grow light up here. And there's another thing I'm thinking about doing. Over here, this has worked fantastic, as you can see from that tomato plant. One little tiny plant, only about 8 inches tall, grew into that thing right there that is almost 4 feet wide, 4 feet in length, and about 2 feet high, and it is just filled with tomatoes. What we did was, you take 2 pots or 2 Rubbermaid containers like that, okay? One of them, you drill your holes in so the water has some place to drain out. If you can see all the little holes in the bottom, I drill the holes here. I'll show you so the light will come through. You can see all the light coming through the holes. Okay, so you take that one and you would throw something in the bottom of this one to keep that pot off the ground. I think this might be too wide. Let's try it. Yep. Something like a piece of wood, which I don't have on hand. I have to cut some plywood, but here, let's just try this right here. If I put these 2 tubes, I can put 3 tubes, who cares, right? It's free. There you go. I put some tubes in the bottom. What I want to do is I want to raise this one off the bottom of that one so it'll have water in the bottom. I want the water to leach up into the soil. So when I water down here, it goes in the second bucket, right there. See a little bit of space all the way around. Now I have at least 2 or more inches of water in the bottom, so when the water goes through the soil, it'll sit at the bottom, then it'll slowly leach back up into the soil, so this thing will always have a decent amount of water in it. Then you put in a good layer of topsoil in here, about yay thick. Then you put a layer of fertilizer, another layer of soil, another layer of fertilizer, another layer of soil, and another layer of fertilizer, and then you put your bulbs in, or your plants, whatever you're growing. What might work really good in this and give us a good crop would be potatoes. Potatoes are easy to grow. You don't need to fertilize them. And you can grow these in the basement. They don't take much work at all, and they hardly use a lot of water. So we could put a ton of potatoes in here. I have 3 of these. This is a 20-gallon tote. I got this at Menards for $3.99 or something like that on sale with the lids, and the lids are being used over there. So at this point, if we can have potatoes growing in these, you can even put carrots in here, and all winter get a crop from your basement. And I'm down here in the basement next to the heater. It's got to be about 73, 74 degrees in here. It is just wonderful. These plants should do great. Get enough light on them and make sure they're watered. Make sure they have their nutrients once a month. Put that in there, and you're going to have food. You'll be able to grow food in your house. If you want to do this year round, you can have a crop inside and outside. You may want to keep some inside to keep it away from the bugs. If you have bugs outside that have been eating your plants. We had some issues with a couple of bugs eating stuff, but I squashed them. So now this is what we got. So I'll keep you informed as to what's happening with our plants down here. I'll give you a heads up. I'll show you what these peppers are going to look like and how they're going to work with grow lights. This will be a first time for us to be growing inside with grow lights. But I figured, hey, I got this huge basement with nothing around here but space. And here's my workshop over here, guys. You can see I'm almost kind of organized. This is where I'll probably be doing a lot of my videos, right down here in my shop. But anyway, tell me what you think. Please give me some ideas. Let me know if I'm doing something wrong. Obviously, as you can see from this one right here, the double layer of Rubbermaid boxes, holes drilled in the top one, wood in the bottom to give me a spacer. The water goes into the bottom Rubbermaid container. The water leaches up, and I had topsoil, nutrients, topsoil nutrients for this one. And look what it did. It went nuts, and it's been going great. I did the same for the pepper plant. And if I could take you outside right now in the dark, I would show you we have a regular traditional hybrid tomato, I think a big boy or something like that, that is probably 4 times or maybe 3 times this size. And I did the same thing with the Rubbermaid boxes, and it is just producing like crazy, but it's too big to bring in. It is just way too big and too heavy. So we did that upstairs, and that's outside, and that's going great. We have eggplant still outside that has 1 more very large eggplant on it, and I'll wait to bring that in. It's doing okay right now. So anyway, tell me if you have any ideas. Give me some hints, some tips, or I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, please contact me. This is Jesus' Salvation, signing off. Have a great day.